Hey, what's going on, guys? I wanted to do like a quick update slash try something new for this video. The update part being I got my handguards done, which I just glued in a piece of elastic or a piece of elastic band here on the back of these because these are like a I wanted them to not be permanent, right? So you can see I can just slide in here and then it's good to go, right? But these are plastic, so if I want to get like higher level accuracy, these will have to actually be painted latex. And so if I wanted to swap these out later, I can do that because these aren't permanent now. Another thing too is I might want to switch out my gloves for trooping because these are really hot and sweaty. So I do have cotton like jeweler's gloves that I wear underneath it to sort of pull the sweat off on my hands, but it's still going to be pretty warm in there. So I could switch it to other gloves, hopefully to try to reduce the warmth. Not that that would do too much, but every little bit helps, I guess. But that's that. Yeah, that's done. Didn't take too long. But the next part of the build, it's going to be something different. I'm actually going to try to, now that I'm a little bit more confident and farther into the build, I want to sort of like show a little bit of what I'm actually doing. I think I did a time lapse the first video, but this will be another time lapse. Do another time lapse, but there's not going to be a whole lot to it. We'll see. But yeah, let's just show you what I have left to do because there's not a lot left. So I'm going to show you what I have left to do here. All right, so this is basically all I have left to sort of prep and get ready. I know I mentioned this before in the last one. This is what I want to get done today. I want to have, these are the shoulder bridges. I just need to finish sanding these down and clean them up a little bit. And then I just got to glue them to the chest and they're done. So that shouldn't take too long. But the rest of this stuff, while I'm out there, it's a really nice day today and I want to go outside and do this. Basically these pieces, I just have to finish sanding down so that they're ready to just be assembled then. And I'll kind of go through these real quick. We got the shoulder bridges here. This stuff here, these are for the abdomen. So this is like the plates, the buttons on the abdomen that they'll need to be painted as well. But I just have to sand down some of this. Got to leave a little bit of this edge here for it to sit on there. This is the other buttons on the abdomen. Just have to like sand and clean up the edges a little bit. This is for the canvas belt. So this will be, I just need to trim down the edges a little bit, cut off the sides here a little bit more. And then what I'll end up doing is it'll be attached to canvas. Here, I'll make a belt out of this with some Velcro. There'll be some snaps on here to connect to the plastic. And there'll be holes like on the edges, on the sides here and in the middle. And that's what these are for. These are sort of to cover up the holes, cover up the snaps that you build. So I have to like finish trimming these out so it's basically flat in there. And then these are the drop boxes on top of, or that hang down off of the belt here. So these just need, there's two pieces in each one. There's an inner and an outer. This just needs, obviously cut down and cleaned up so that the one will fit inside the other one. And then I'll just have a piece of elastic band or elastic that'll just snap to the back to the belt, loop around the canvas belt and just hang down from here as well. Then we have the thermal detonator or the O2 canister, whatever it is. This is the sort of the plate, the control panel plate. I need a piece of gray PVC that this will glue onto, and then I've got these end caps here. There's a lot to cut off of here. There's only a little bit's going to be left on this. Not a little bit, but like probably half of this is going to get cut off. And then I'll get some metal to make clips around the PVC, and then that's the thermal detonator or the O2 canister. And then the only thing else, well, there's the ammo pack on the thigh. I have to cut this down, just sand off the edges a little bit, clean up the edges here. And there's not too much to that. And then I'll have to just, once I'm fitting it, I'll cut off the edges here where I need it to go. And then this will just get riveted to the thigh piece, and then the thigh will be done. Well, it'll be done once I get the garter on it. Then after that, the last piece to sort of get ready is the sniper plate on the shin. And this needs cutouts to basically nothing. I don't think there's too much left on here. I'm not sure though. I have to look into that. And then this, I'm not quite sure exactly like how much to leave for this one. So I might hold off on doing this right now until I get some more references and get a better idea of like how much of this to leave, and then how much, like, what if I think it's like a curved angle, kind of like how it is here, just like less of an edge. So I have to look more into that before I do that. So yeah, the plan is to take this stuff outside and just go and sand it down till it's pretty close to where I want it to be, if not where I want it to be. So let's go get that done. All right, so yeah, I'd set up a little workstation outside to do this, just because of all the dust. Like, one thing when you're working with this stuff, like, always wear a mask, and then also, if you can, do it outside. There's so much. It makes cleanup a lot easier. I mean, in a garage or a workstation or whatever, you like a workshop or whatever. I was doing this over the winter inside my like office, and I very quickly abandoned that. That's why I didn't get a lot of it done over this period. But anyway, so yeah, I'm grinding down. Like I said, I'd cut it down pretty close to where I want it to be, but not all the way there, with scissors or a knife or whatever. And now I'm kind of grinding it pretty close, even closer, but not quite there with the Dremel, just using a little sanding Dremel on the end of that. And then after that, I've got some 60 grit sandpaper glued to a board here, just to like clean up the edges and make sure that it's a straight line, which worked out really nicely. And then once I get it down to where I want it to, like, that 60 grit really grinds into that plastic. So, you know, I probably could have done with just a 60 grit if it didn't have a Dremel. It would just take forever to do that. But then after that, I just polish it back up again with some 120 grit sandpaper, which just sort of smooths everything out then, and just, like I said, polishes it up. The 60 grit will leave a lot of roughness left over, so that like I said, that 120 grit just gets rid of any snags or anything that might occur. Cleans it all up, makes it looks good. But yeah, that's the process. That's kind of what I did for the whole project as well. I would cut it pretty close to where I wanted it to be, either with scissors or a knife or the Dremel. Even there's like I have cutting blades for the Dremel as well. And then I would go back through, and sometimes if I needed to sand, if it were like more precision kind of stuff, I use the Dremel there to sort of like get a better. It's kind of easier to sand stuff down with the Dremel than it is to like cut it out with scissors for certain areas. And then, yeah, by hand, I would then sort of clean it up a little bit more, get it closer to where I wanted it to be with the 60 grit. Like I said, that 60 grit will really tear into that plastic, really remove a lot of plastic pretty quickly. It's not too bad doing that, and then clean it up again with the 120 grit. But yeah, I you know, like I said, I definitely do this outside because there's you can see all the dust, and the wind's blowing pretty hard. So like, it's yeah, definitely do this outside, or like I said, in a workshop, and definitely wear a mask, 100%. But I ended up, I'm only showing a couple pieces here. My camera battery ended up dying, so I didn't record the whole thing. I didn't realize that it had died too. But yeah, let's bring it back in. I'll show you guys the finished product for all these. All right, full disclosure, guys. Everything you just saw was recorded like 3 weeks ago. I just haven't had time to work on the video or the armor itself, right? And I'm trying not to get too far ahead of like in the builds, because then it's even harder for me to keep you guys updated with my videos. So yeah, let's see what we have done. All right, so the first thing that we're gonna look at is the shoulder bridges. You saw that we start working on these in the time lapse there. We got them all finished and cleaned up, and then just got them glued on. They're just glued on the front here, and then in the back, they're just held on by elastic straps, which are popping off because I'm moving them around. I don't know I think once when I'm wearing this, that the elastic should hold. It shouldn't be, obviously the armor is moving around a lot more with me just moving it instead of more than it would if I was wearing it. But if anybody has any tips, or if anybody does anything to keep the straps like in place, I'd love to hear them in the comments there. But yeah, this is how they were in the original movie in A New Hope. They were the other straps up here. That's how they kept these down, was with these elastic straps. And this is just like, you can pick this up at like any fabric store or most craft stores that sell like sewing stuff. It's just little real thin elastic, just tied it in a knot, stuck it on there. Nothing too fancy there. All right, so the next bit was, we didn't see this on the recording. I think I recorded this on a different, or I did this on a different day because I ran out of time on that recording. This is the ab buttons. They actually will sit, this plate sits on here. And for this one, I didn't use the Dremel on it at all. I just went through with that 60 grit on that board and just like sanded each side down, like just went back and forth on opposite sides until it like lined up here, because I didn't want to take off too much, you know. You can always shave down a little bit more. You can't put back if you've taken off too much. So that's how I went through and did that. And these actually, I think I need to do a little bit more. This one is pretty good, but I'm just gonna want to go back through and just tighten it up a little bit. And this is for the other side over here. This will sit here, and then these also need painted as well. So put that down. So for these, I saw this on somebody's build thread on the forums. There's I found this little template thing here, and there's a 1/2 inch circle which fits like nicely over these to get a nice clean paint job. And I'll just use, not going to put the template over the buttons. I'm going to kind of cut my own little templates out of masking tape and then tape it over these, and then just paint, because I don't have a steady hand at all. So thought that was a nice little trick that I saw on there, and I'll give that a test. But then I have to do just a little bit more sanding for these, and then get them painted and then glued on, and then they'll be done. So the next thing we've got is the belt. You saw this on the video, the time lapse. We got this done, looking really nice, I think. Nice clean edges there. I still have to cut a little bit more off of the sides here, but that won't be a problem. And then I'm waiting till I get the canvas material sewn, which I should be able to do today, and then I can get that assembled on there. I didn't get a chance to get like the drop boxes done, or the thermal detonator. Didn't get that done either. So those are gonna have to wait for a different day. So the next bit then we have here is the thigh ammo pack thing, whatever it's called. But this will sit right here, like centered on there to cover up that mess. And then it just sort of wraps around on both sides here, like so. And then we'll just rivet, cut off the excess, obviously, and then rivet it to the sides there. I don't have any rivets, so I have to grab those when I get a chance, and it shouldn't take too long to do that. Then you'll also notice here we have this is the thigh strapping. This is just 2-inch elastic that I've looped. I actually sewed it, the loop here, hand sewn it, because I don't have a machine. But then I glued it in, and then the front of the loop is facing the it's actually glued to this to make it really, it's a really strong connection here. It's not going anywhere. Yeah, so what this is for is you can see here, I got this a set of this on Amazon pretty cheap. It's like a big roll of this like nylon or whatever kind of material this is, strapping a bunch of buckles. I think there's like there's like 5 sets of these buckles in here, and it's to make different strappings or whatever you want. So I made a belt. And I just hand sewed this on the end there. It should hold, and this is going to get covered. This is going to be under the ab plate, or the ab section, so you won't see this. But yeah, I made a belt so that you just loop your thigh pieces through it, and then it'll holds up your thigh piece into place there. It makes it nice, because then they're not like falling down all the time. All right, so that's where we're at, and I think from what I wanted to get done from last episode, I think we got pretty much everything done, except for the ab. I wanted to have these done as well, but this will take me, just the weather's going to be nice for the foreseeable future, so this shouldn't take me more than a couple minutes just to run outside and get those done. Sanded, just like I said, I just need to take off a tiny little bit more sanding wise, and then I can paint them. And with the templates that like I said, I want to use, the masking shouldn't take more than like a minute or two to do those. But other than that, for next time, I definitely want to get the belt started. I'm gonna go out today and run into my mom's so she can help me sew the canvas belt, the canvas part together. And then once the canvas part is done, then like I at least want to get this attached to that, because that would just require cutting the excess off of here. I have to, like, the edges are like angled. There's like a 45-degree cut here, and then this will just get attached via snaps on these parts, and in the middle, I don't know where the middle is. We'll get attached via snaps to the canvas. We'll go through that later. So I'd at least like to have that done, and then if I can, start working on like the other stuff. Everything else that I need to sand down is basically just for the belt, right? Except for the sniper plate on the knee. That's way in the future. But yeah, so I'd like to have that, like I said, just the plastic and the canvas connected, and then from there we'll just gauge from there. But then the other thing I want to do too, kind of simultaneously, is get this on here, because this shouldn't be too much. I just need to get, like I said, I need to get rivets and then rivet these on here. But before I do that, I want to clean up the back here, which it's just this is like the way the armor is. The molding is kind of weird. So like I don't know how to go about cleaning this up. So if anybody has any ideas in the comments, please leave them in the comments. Yeah, because that's gonna be tricky, and I'd like to do that before I get the ammo belt on, because then that's just extra stuff in the way of working with that. This I'm not worried about, because this will be covered up with the ammo belt, so that I'm not worried about, in all honesty. And then with the other thigh, talking about thighs, and this is like future stuff. I'm not trying to get this done. I just want to clean up the return edge around here. This one, in all honesty, I just need to glue a tab in here to sort of like behind here, just to keep it flush and looking a little bit nicer. And then just, like I said, clean up the return edge on there, and everything's fine for that one. But that one, I'm not worried about that one, because it's like I said, once I get the ammo belt on here, really can't do a whole lot of work on this. I might go through and clean up the return edge on this one, although it's not too bad. I don't know, we'll see. Like I said, I just want to have, for the next video, obviously I want to have the ab buttons done, and I at least want to have the canvas and the plastic connected. That's all I'm shooting for. Doesn't sound like a lot, and it probably isn't a lot. We'll probably have more to it than that. But yeah, hopefully I can get it out in a reasonable amount of time. We'll see. Like I said, with the nice weather, I should have more time to go outside and work on stuff. But yeah, that's it, guys. That's where we are right now. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment if you have any questions or advice or anything, and we'll see you next time.